Elvira went to her husband's grave every Saturday. She brought flowers, talked out loud, imagining that Grisha could hear her. Her husband passed away a month ago. A blood clot cut short the life of a 50-year-old man. It seemed like they had just celebrated his anniversary, and now he lies underground. How unpredictable life is. Elvira always loved her husband, and over the years this love grew into something more. A warm feeling of affection. He became a family member. Their daughter Nastia is 25, lives in another city, has a man. Her soul is at peace for her. But she herself was very sad and lonely, especially in the evenings and at night. She wanted to howl like a wolf. It's good that she has a job. It distracts her from sad thoughts. They take your mind off it so much that you forget about everything. Grisha, hello dear. Here I am again. I miss you very much. I hope you have settled in well there. If you see my dad, say hello. Another Saturday, Elvira brought white chrysanthemums. To her surprise, there were already flowers on the grave. Exactly the same. The author of the story is Notes of an Optimist. These were Grisha's favourite flowers. I wonder who brought them. My husband's parents did not live here. There were no relatives. Probably someone from work or friends. What good guys. They don't forget him. The next Saturday, there were fresh white chrysanthemums again. Someone comes early in the morning. Elvira closer to lunch. Who is it? Elvira decided to follow. She arrived early on Saturday morning and hid nearby. Sat on a bench behind a tree. She was not visible. Exactly at 9 o'clock, a woman of about 45 approached the grave. Short, with a ponytail on her head. In her hands, she held a bouquet of white chrysanthemums. I wonder who she is. Hello. Did you know Grisha? Elvira approached her. She shuddered in surprise. You scared me. Hello. Yes. I am Grigori's former colleague. My name is Galina. And I am his wife, Elvira. I racked my brains trying to figure out who was bringing the flowers, and it turns out it was you. I don't remember Grisha talking about you before. I know everyone he worked with. Yes. I still haven't gotten over it. He was so young, and then the person is gone. I didn't work for their company for long. Went on maternity leave, and then changed jobs. I also don't believe that Grisha is gone. It seems like the door will open any minute, and he will come in, smile his signature smile, and everything will be as before. I have to go. All the best to you, Elvira. And to you, Galina. Goodbye. Thank you for honouring the memory of my husband. Galina left. Elvira had mixed feelings. On the one hand, it was nice that Grisha was not forgotten, but on the other, a strange woman came to her husband's grave, and not just once. What a strange situation. And this Galina behaved strangely. She left quickly. They didn't really talk. When Elvira came home, she felt unwell. She took her temperature. It was high. Her head hurt badly. Well, that's all she needed to get sick. She spent 2 weeks on sick leave. She didn't go to the cemetery because she felt bad, and she knew in her mind that she should go less often, probably at least once a month. It was really hard mentally. And then it was Saturday again. Elvira was clearing the leaves from the grave when she heard someone approaching. It was Galina, and she wasn't alone. There was a boy with her, about 10 years old. Elvira froze in surprise. He was a copy of her Grisha. Hello, Elvira. Good afternoon, Galina. Are you here again? Yes. I decided to come with my son. Grisha. Son. Step aside a little. Wow. And his name is Grisha. And he looks like Grisha. Elvira got nervous. Well, what a rare name they gave their son. Few people name their children like that these days. It's my favourite name. It sounds beautiful, Grigori. Beautiful. And what's the boy's patronymic? Galina hesitated. Her son started to chase away a crow that had landed on a mound of earth. Mum, look at this fearless bird. It's climbing onto Daddy's grave. Mum, I'm going to the toilet. I saw him over there. Elvira looked at Galina in surprise. She sighed and sat down on the bench. Yes, Grisha is his son. It just happened. All these years you... with Grisha? Elvira's mouth went dry. How could this be? Son, I fell in love with him as soon as I saw him. It happens. He didn't pay any attention. He was polite, courteous. After all, for him I was just a colleague. a newcomer in the team. I was 34 at that time. No husband, divorced, no children. I live in my own apartment, found a good job, but there is no happiness. I knew from my colleagues that Grisha was married, had a daughter, but I never wanted to marry him. I was not going to take him away from his family. I just wanted my piece of happiness. Your father got sick then. You left and stayed there for a month. One day I asked Grisha to come to my house, to help me with work, with the computer. He came on a day off. I fed him, although he resisted at first. Then we talked for a long time, recalling our younger years. I saw that he was lonely. You were not there. The teenage daughter was busy with her own life, and somehow we became close. It was only once. But, fortunately, this time he brought me a son. Amazing, isn't it? To conceive a child in one go. But, perhaps, it was fate. Grisha felt guilty before you. He said that he loved his wife and daughter and would never leave you. Some kind of eclipse happened. For me, it was a gift from God, to give birth to a child from a loved one, even knowing that he did not feel anything for me. It no longer mattered. Grisha was very sensitive to his son. He loved him. And his son. They spent time together once a week. Naturally, I quit. And after maternity leave, I found another job. The author of the story is Notes of an Optimist. No one knew about us. And I hoped no one would know. This is my life. My son. And after Grisha's death, something broke inside me. All these years I could see, hear him. And now here. The grave. It's good that my son is nearby. He misses me too. Elvira listened in shock about her husband's double life. All these years he went to see his son. To this woman. Don't worry. We will not lay claim to the inheritance. We don't need anything. And believe me, I didn't want to hurt you. I just lived my life. I didn't even suspect anything. We always had a warm relationship, no suspicions. So he visited us without compromising the family. He never stayed overnight, no matter how much our son asked. You were his number one priority. Mum, when are we going home already? I'm frozen. Grisha was tired of hanging around while his mother was talking. We're leaving now, son. And don't hold a grudge against your husband. Or against me. I just wanted a little happiness. Galina and her son left. Elvira was sitting on the bench. It felt like she'd hit her head with something. Grisha opened up to her other side. The side she didn't know. Grisha, I don't even know what to say. Knowing your character, I can imagine how you felt all these years. How cleverly she's managed to wrap you around her. But I have to give you credit. You're a good conspirator. There wasn't even a hint of your double life. When I got home, I called my daughter. I wanted to tell her, but then I changed my mind. Why would my daughter know this? She'd only be upset. Let this secret remain unsolved. Elvira never saw Galina again, although flowers occasionally appeared on her husband's grave. On the anniversary of her husband's death, Elvira and her daughter came to the cemetery. Galina and her son walked away from Grigori's grave. Hello, Galina and Grisha. Nastya, meet your brother. It just happened that way. Nastya looked at her mother in amazement. What kind of jokes are these? Then they all sat together in a cafe. Over the course of a year, Elvira calmed down and accepted this fact as a given. She doesn't have a husband, but Nastya has a brother. Whatever the case, they are related by blood. Such surprises life sometimes throws up.